The White House says that the U.S. is sending 10 F-35 fighter jets to Puerto Rico as part of an effort to combat drug cartels.
The White House says the United States is sending 10 F-35 fighter jets to Puerto Rico.
The U.S. is sending 10 F-35 fighter jets to Puerto Rico as part of President Trump's vow to crack down on drug cartels in the Caribbean.
The cold northern skies are changing. And for the first time in decades, the United States isn't the one calling the shots. Something unexpected is happening just across the border. A shift so quiet, so subtle, that most Americans haven't noticed it yet. But when they do, it might already be too late. Because Canada, America's closest ally and defense partner, is preparing to field a fighter jet powered by a new engine from Rolls-Royce. An engine that could turn Sweden's Gripen into one of the most dangerous and cost-effective air superiority machines on Earth. And if this happens, the balance of power in North America won't just shift, it will tilt. Washington has been confident for years. Confident that Canada would remain tied to the F-35 program. Confident that North American air defense would always run through US-built technology. Confident that, when it came to the skies, America would always be the anchor and Canada the follower. But that confidence is now colliding with a new reality. One where Ottawa is reconsidering its options, Europe is gaining influence, and Rolls-Royce is stepping forward with a technology that threatens to break Washington's monopoly on advanced fighter power. And it all begins with a simple question. What happens when Canada decides it no longer wants to depend on the United States to defend its skies?
And our goal will be to build in Canada, to own the IP. But there are things that we cannot build because we just don't have the capacity. And we want to be able to diversify our partners. And that's where Sweden comes in, because we can partner. If we can't build, we will partner.
For decades, Canada's fighter fleet has relied heavily on American jets. F-18, upgraded with US parts, US software, and US oversight. Every decision, every upgrade, every export permission has run through Washington. That dependency gave America enormous leverage in everything from defense talks to Arctic patrols. But then something went wrong. The F-35 program, once sold as the future of Western air power, became a symbol of ballooning costs, technical failures, and endless delays. A Canadian audit revealed a stunning number. $19 billion budgeted, now nearly $28 billion. And it's still climbing. Lifetime cost per aircraft? Up to $200 million. For a country with massive territory, limited population, and harsh climates, the F-35 isn't just expensive, it's risky. And that's when Sweden's Gripen quietly re-entered the conversation. Unlike the F-35, the Gripen isn't a maintenance monster. It doesn't require massive infrastructure, endless technicians, or a fleet of specialized tankers. It can operate off icy runways. It can land on highways. It can be refueled, rearmed, and relaunched in minutes. It was built for countries with unpredictable weather and vast terrain, exactly like Canada. But the Gripen had one weakness, its American-built engine. A single U.S. component that gave Washington veto power over who could buy it and where it could be deployed. Sweden designed the jet, but America controlled its heart, until now. Rolls-Royce is preparing to develop a brand new engine for the Gripen, one that removes the last thread of American control. If the project succeeds, the Gripen becomes a fully sovereign aircraft, and Canada suddenly has an option that Washington cannot influence, restrict, or block. From a U.S. perspective, that's a nightmare. A Canadian fighter fleet independent from U.S. oversight doesn't just change procurement. It changes NORAD. It changes Arctic strategy. It changes the economic balance of the North American defense sector. And it challenges America's long-standing dominance in a region it has controlled since World War II. Officials inside Washington know exactly what's at stake. The F-35 wasn't just a jet. It was a way to keep friendly nations tied to U.S. supply chains, U.S. upgrades, and U.S. politics. Lose that, and you lose more than a contract. You lose influence. Canada knows this too. And after years of tariff fights, trade tensions, and political friction, Ottawa seems more willing than ever to explore alternatives. Prime Minister Mark Carney has been under growing pressure as the F-35's price skyrockets. Members of Parliament are asking why Canada should remain locked into an American program when Sweden, and now Britain, offer cheaper, more reliable options with fewer strings attached. Defense analysts are sounding the alarm. If Canada shifts even part of its order to the Gripen, it could trigger a domino effect. Countries watching from the sidelines, Portugal, Thailand, the Philippines, Colombia, would suddenly see a major NATO member walking away from U.S. dominance. And while the United States would never say it publicly, the fear is obvious. If the Gripen, powered by Rolls-Royce, becomes the world's most attractive non-U.S. fighter jet, then the F-35's global monopoly begins to crack. Canada is in a unique position. It has only paid for 16 of its planned 88 F-35s. That means it's not too deep into the program to change course. A mixed fleet, some F-35s, some Gripens, would save billions, reduce risk, and give the country flexibility it has never had before. Europe is pushing for this. Sweden is offering to build the jet inside Canada. Rolls-Royce is offering advanced tech. Ukraine wants its own Gripen fleet built in North America for safety. And Bombardier, Canada's struggling aerospace champion, sees a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to revive its manufacturing sector. But with opportunity comes danger. Bombardier's past failures, over-budget projects, cancellations, financial collapse, haunt every discussion. Building a fighter jet is nothing like building a commercial plane. It requires precision, discipline, secrecy, and ironclad reliability. One mistake can cost billions, or worse, lives. Even so, the appetite for a Canadian-built Gripen is growing. Ontario wants the jobs, Quebec wants the contracts, Western provinces want component factories, and Swedish technicians are already preparing for expanded production to fulfill Ukraine's potential order of 150 jets. This isn't just a defense project anymore. It's political, economic, strategic, national. Rolls-Royce's involvement is the turning point, because now Canada isn't just choosing between two fighter jets. It's choosing between two futures. One future keeps Canada tied to U.S. systems, U.S. oversight, U.S. politics, where Washington maintains control over Arctic patrols and NORAD operations. The other future gives Canada something it has never fully had: complete independence in the air. Imagine a jet built in Canada, powered by a British engine, designed by Sweden, operated by Canadians, and free from Washington's vetoes. A jet that can launch from frozen highways, outrange Russian interceptors, and dominate Arctic skies with unmatched efficiency. For the United States, that future is uncomfortable, because it represents a world where its closest allies don't rely on American equipment, a world where defense partnerships shift from necessity to choice, a world where Europe rises as a military supplier, not just an economic one. Washington isn't afraid of losing money. It's afraid of losing influence. And influence is everything. In the Arctic, where Russia and China are expanding. In NORAD, where joint patrols rely on shared technology. In NATO, where unity is built on compatibility. In the global defense market, where perception shapes power. If Canada chooses a path independent from the United States, other countries may follow. And if they do, the era of American defense dominance could begin to fade. But for now, nothing is final. Canada continues to evaluate. Sweden continues to negotiate. Rolls-Royce continues to design. And Washington continues to watch. Because what happens next will define the direction of North American air power for the next half-century. A quiet shift is underway, the kind that doesn't make headlines until it's already reshaped the world. And somewhere deep inside a Canadian hangar, where Arctic winds beat against steel doors and the future feels closer than ever, a question hangs in the air. What does a country become when it finally takes control of its own sky?